Hey, it's Mac with the Danny Mac post-game edition of the podcast, Bears and Colts. In a second, I want to remind you, football aficionados, players can play same-game parlays to earn squares on college and NFL games. Our exclusive squares, these games offer additional chances for profit boosts, bonus bets, and up to $10,000 jackpots. Check it out. Visit Bet Rivers. Make sure you're on that app navigated. Find your way around there. There's money to be made.
You're now watching the Danny Mac podcast on the Bet Rivers Network.
And I hope you made a little on Sunday in week 3. The Bears come up short against Indianapolis. It was a terrible football game by both offenses. I don't have much good to say about Indianapolis today other than Jonathan Taylor, who was terrific today and cut out the Bears' hearts both as a runner and as a receiver. But let's go to the show that is the Bears' offense. Man, it took until the 12th quarter of the season before Caleb Williams finally got his first touchdown pass. Williams was erratic early. He threw a couple of really bad picks. He's not settled. It's clear he is pressing. I don't think there's any question about it. And to their credit on CBS, the analysts, Tiki Barber and Jason McCourty, both called him on it. When he got DJ Moore up out of his feet, he caused him to leave his feet and jump for a very simple, just turn around, get you the ball thing. There was no way Moore could get his body in position to get any momentum and get downfield. The third down attempt was thwarted. He is playing tight. He's pressing. He's throwing the ball high. He is running around back there like Eric Kramer told you in the offseason after the Bears drafted him. He said he likes him, but I remember Eric Kramer telling me right here on the podcast, he gets all excited back there and runs around like a whirling dervish. It's very similar to what Justin Fields did when he would get flushed out of the pocket, spinning from his left to his right, keeping his back to the field of play and his potential targets. I've never liked that. It's a recipe to get him hurt, and it's lucky he didn't do that today. He throws 2 picks. He also lost the fumble on the first NFL sack for Latu. I hope I got that correct. I want to get the jersey's real cool, Latu, but Latu, the first player chosen in the NFL draft, got the strip sack of Williams today, and the Bears offense just not very good, and it's the passing game that's not very good. I don't care about all these numbers. Yes, he threw for 350 some yards or whatever it was. The Bears had a lot of yards today. They made a lot of first downs. They had 26 first downs, 332 passing yards on the day. That's the net after they subtract the sackages, and there were 4 of those today again. So the offensive line did not do well in run protection. In terms of pass protection, I thought there were a couple of them that were on Williams. I think he's got to get rid of it quicker. Very Fields-like today in several things we saw in the game of the number 1 pick in the draft. And I'm not down on Caleb Williams. I'm frustrated that some of these things that I thought were prominent in the first 2 games have not subsided. He's not playing very relaxed at all. 33 of 52 for 363. 2 touchdown passes to Rome Odunze and Cole Kmet, both of whom had big days today. Odunze's first 100-plus yard receiving day. He had 6 catches for 112. Kmet 10 for 97 and a touchdown. DJ Moore had 8 catches for 78 yards. A lot of those at the end of the first half, and that was missed by studio hosts who only see the numbers. That's better for Caleb Williams, says Nate Burleson on CBS. When you see 200 and something at the half, yeah, but 50 of them or so came on that Hail Mary, which the ball was batted back out of the end zone and Moore caught it at the 2-yard line. That was a 44-yard play. What bothered me about the Bears' long game today was not the passing game. I thought it came around as we got into the fourth quarter. Those last couple series, the Bears finally showed a little bit of rhythm and a little bit of balance. They had Indianapolis off balance. Maybe they were getting tired because the Bears hogged the ball. They had the ball for 35 minutes at the RCA Dome today. It's not the RCA Dome anymore. It's Lucas Oil Stadium. At least I didn't call it the Hoosier Dome, which is what it was 40 years ago this month when they cut the ribbon for head coach Frank Kush. Mike Pagel barking out the signals the first year the Horseshoes were in downtown Indiana. I'm punchy because I'm frustrated like you are, Bears fans. And I'm not even I wouldn't call myself an ardent Bears fan. I want this thing to work. And when your long rush of the day, and they committed to it. The thing I will say about Shane Waldron that's positive is just because they were getting stuck again, DeAndre Swift not getting an opportunity to get any daylight. And he's not a guy who's going to break a lot of tackles. I don't think he had any coming into the game this year yet. He doesn't have an opportunity, but at least he stuck to it today. And they averaged 2.3 yards per rush. That's dreadful. But if you're going to average 2.3 yards per rush, run it 28 times and keep your defense off the field and let them rest. And there's one guy in particular who needs a lot of rest on the Chicago defense, and I'll get to Mr. Billings in a second. But more on the offense, because that's where it's coming off the tracks for the Bears. I thought this would be so much better. Why in the world you're running an option? You're running an option with Caleb Williams on 4th and goal. You know, if there is penetration on that play, you immediately take your quarterback out of the play. The ball's out of his hands. Once he dishes, as Williams had to, because penetration, the Bears are terrible at center and they're terrible at right guard, and Nate Davis not able to go today, so they bring in the Ram Pryor, number 79, the well-tattooed, versatile veteran, versatile that he plays several positions. I don't know if he plays any of them particularly well, but Pryor moved to left tackle briefly when Braxton Jones went into the blue medical tent. And then they trotted out Nate Davis. They played him a few snaps at guard. Jones was ready to return, so they got him back out there. And the former Ram, Pryor, moves back to the right guard, but he wasn't very good today. Coleman Shelton's not very good. Braxton Jones has struggled from time to time. He's not going to be perfect. None of them are. Darnell Wright isn't perfect either. He's the best of their group. But I don't know why Pryor has this issue with not being able to hear his quarterback. He's as close to Caleb Williams as anybody is. And he's playing right guard. He's leaning to his left, and he's going to get a penalty if he moves his head really, really close to the ball actually being snapped. I don't know why this isn't called more often. Offensive linemen are not supposed to move their heads. When offensive linemen are turning their heads to hear the cadence, to hear the signals being barked, that is supposed to be an infraction. And they almost never call it. And Pryor, a couple of times today, took it right up until the ball being snapped. I don't know if he can't hear very well or if he's struggling to understand and needs somebody to whisper something to him, if Shelton is trying to get something to him communicatively. But it's just not good. And they didn't protect on the Latu sack. Cole Kmet got beat on that one, and Cole Kmet's a very good tight end. He got beat in protection, and it's not funny, but they kept both Kmet and Mercedes Lewis, the 40-year-old 8th captain on the Bears. They kept them in protection, so they're going mass protect in 13 personnel. Sound like I'm on the radio still. All those guys try to impress everybody. They were in 13 the double tight ends. They had 2 tight ends. 13 personnel. Get over yourselves. Um, I'm getting distracted. And they still can't protect. The tackle to tackle do okay, but the tight ends don't get it done. And there was too much of that today. Williams is not necessarily very composed back there when he's chased around. He's out of control. He contends he doesn't get nervous, but he sure doesn't play that way. Doesn't it look to you like Caleb Williams is playing nervously? He's not settled. He's too amped up. And I'll give you another case in point. When he completed a pass to Kmet to the Indianapolis 5, that put the Bears in 4th and 1. Kmet was knocked down or out of bounds near the boundary on the top of your screen. I thought the official spot was less than favorable for the Bears. I thought he was past the marker. And I thought for sure Eberflus is going to challenge this. That's going to give them a first down and goal at about the 4.5-yard line. Williams was so excited to get the ball snapped because he thought he had Indianapolis in a mismatch. Now, that's good if he's that mindful of the personnel Indy has on the field. But what are the Bears coaches doing 2 weeks in a row on a potential replay? Last weekend against the Texans, they challenged because Kyler Gordon, the third-year DB, was gesticulating and demanding a replay because he thought he had both hands underneath a C.J. Stroud pass for an interception. Either nobody told Eberflus and it wasn't followed up this past week at Hallis Hall. Nobody asked. Nobody told him it wasn't a catch, or he was just trying to placate the player, or they didn't know. But that challenge, I mean, we knew that one was not going to be reversed. There's an opportunity blown right there. Hang on to that one. Don't please the player. In this case, you've got to react quickly. Tell your quarterback, hang on, wait, hold on a second. Let's see if we want to challenge this. And if Indianapolis wants to trot fresh meat out there and risk not having their guys on side or lined up and having had a chance to hear what the defensive call is going to be on 4th and short, that's on them. So you don't worry about that. But it's the offense. Shane Waldron, why are you running shotgun in short yardage near the goal line? What are you doing? What is this love affair? You see it all over the league. Why shotgun from the 1-yard line? Why? Especially if your quarterback is a threat to run with the football. Why won't you get him a little bit close? We want to get him a little momentum. That's great if you've got tackle to tackle who can do that. There's too much leakage with the Bears. There's too much leakage. And Jalen Jones had one of the 2 picks for Indianapolis. That was just a terribly thrown ball. And Jalen Johnson had one of Anthony Richardson's terribly thrown balls where he didn't even have his feet set. He's jumping up and just way overthrows his target. I think that was a Michael Pittman errant biscuit. But I don't have much bad to say about the Bears defense. There were back-to-back plays in the third quarter that irritated me, both of which were big gains by Jonathan Taylor, the veteran from Wisconsin, the leading rusher in 21. A really, really good season for this guy in a year they should have been a playoff team in Indianapolis, but weren't because they didn't close. Losing in week 17 at home to Vegas, losing in week 18 on the road to Jacksonville. That was when Jacksonville had one win going into their final game of the season. But Taylor had a 15-yard gain. I'm sorry, it was a 25-yard gain on a screen pass. 3 guys didn't tackle him. There were 3 Bears who didn't were in a position. Byard was the last. Kevin Byard, the free agent, the 31-year-old safety, the top 10 in picks in the league, active players. He was the last. Edmonds, 49, who had one of the Bears' 2 picks. I mentioned Johnson, the other, good old number 1, in your program and in your heart. I think Gordon might have missed on one of them. The very next snap, Taylor has another big gain. I think this is a rush for 15 yards. So he goes for 25 and then 15, I believe. And there were missed tackles on that one as well, including Stevenson, the second-year corner, Tyreek Stevenson, who had such a terrific year last year. But I don't have much bad to say about the Bears defensively. Their pass rush wasn't great. Montez Sweat got there once, and it was the old forward progress was stopped. He had him in the grasp, didn't even have the satisfaction of decking the large mammal who is Anthony Richardson. Sweat hasn't been a force by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not saying he's played terribly, but he hasn't played great. He's making $98 million. You got to chase that dude down, man. You got to put that guy on his ass more than you're doing. That's not satisfactory. And unfortunately, the side I'm on will not have his pressures, so I can't get you anything updated on where he was today with his pressures. Hold on. Quarterback hits. Pardon the just one for Montez Sweat. In fact, Anthony Richardson was hit only 3 times today. Tremaine Edmonds, Gervon Dexter, who's playing better in this second year, and Montez Sweat. He was hit 3 times today. Andrew Billings, number 97, is a guy I was glad to see the Bears retain. He's a large dude, and I know that a lot of people think it's cute. I am among them who think big guys, fat guys dancing in the end zone is cute. He's not of any value to his team in the fourth quarter carrying as much weight as he has. I didn't know he was as fat as he is until a shot of him today revealed his dark, snugly fitting body armor. I don't know if he was wearing Under Armour or base layer or something, but it's, what all of us wear that is snug fitting underneath a flannel if we're going somewhere and it's going to be cool. Now, that's not the case playing in an indoor dome stadium, but there were rolls on top of rolls. He's got handfuls of belly fat of jelly roll. That's not going to make him a great football player. It's going to make him harder to move. Fridge Perry was hard to move at 370. But in the fourth quarter, carrying the weight he's got, and maybe they don't want him to play more than 40 snaps a game. I don't know. I don't know how he could. I've seen great players eat their way out of the league. Jerry Ball of the Lions was one of those ball-shaped nose guards who just didn't have any discipline, and he was great for a short period of time, and then he was of no value. Gilbert Brown did that in Green Bay during the Favre era. Gilbert was a terrific football player, but he couldn't bend over to tie his shoes by the time his career was done. He was up over 400 pounds. Very few guys, have had the ability to have stamina carrying that much extra fat. And that's what it is. Warren Sapp, I think, is the best fat guy who ever played pro football, the best athlete. Warren Sapp was as much of a monster in the fourth quarter as he was in the first, and he never came off the field. And he had jelly rolls underneath his pewter and scarlet jersey in Tampa. I loved Warren Sapp. He kept playing. He was fat. Andrew Billings needs to get fit. Come on, man. They need you in the fourth quarter, especially this offense. You got to get more, get off the field. 21-16 is our final today. The Bears offense didn't score its second touchdown of the year until its 35th possession of the season. I thought the broadcast today was terrific. I thought Andrew Catalon, while he's got some Iron Eagle and thus the son of Iron Eagle in him as well, I thought it was very smooth. I think he calls a pretty good game, and I thought McCourty and Tiki Barber worked well together. I enjoyed what they had to offer, primarily because they saw things that I saw, and then they confirmed them for me, which I appreciated because I lost my satellite feed today, and when you lose the satellite feed, you have to stream, and then you can't go to the rewind immediately afterward. It's technical crap that I'm still figuring out, but nonetheless, they were on top of it today. I enjoyed the broadcast, if not the outcome. The Bears are 1-2 now, with the Rams coming up. 1-2 in a division that was expected to be good, and it's going to be. The Packers won again today. Malik Willis is just as content to run it up your ass as he is throw it. Packers all over the Titans in the noon games today, and the Vikings had no issues solving the Texans. Sam Darnold, your table is ready. Justin Jefferson healthy. And the Vikings, after back-to-back wins, San Francisco in week 2, the Texans in week 3. That's big. They're 2-1. Bears better get it done this week, man. They better get their shit together quickly. Carolina's around the corner, but you're going to have to play if you're going to beat the Rams. Man, I wish I had better news for you today, but this is a frustrating start. I didn't think we'd be here. In a way, we kind of all deserve it, the way we chirped all off season. I chirped here on the podcast. Quarterbacks every week. Randy Merkins finding me. Kurt Warner. And look at this. Rodney Peets here. USC legend. Scott Mitchell. Let's talk about the division and what your role was in the... they hadn't earned a varsity letter yet. Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, who hopefully will run his routes and not pull up when he's running a slant in the red zone ever again. He pulled up. Hopefully they get better, but we kind of had this coming. We all chirped. Hard Knocks is in town. Caleb Williams jerseys are flying off the shelves. Boy, that defense sure can play. The difference is the defense can play, but they can't run the ball anymore. We've always thought if the Bears have a running back and they play defense, we're all going to be fine. They'll muscle out 9 or 10 wins and hopefully get some breaks in the postseason. How's that worked for you over the last 38 years? They haven't played in a game with Roman numerals on it but one time since the Woof Woof Bears, and that was Brian Urlacher's bunch back in February of 07. Okay, Bears lose 21-16. Thank you for listening. Thank you for allowing me to vent. The executive producer of the Danny Mac podcast is Sam Michael. I am going to visit with Jim Everett, the former Los Angeles Rams quarterback and Purdue Boilermaker. I think it'll be my first ever interview with him. We were college seniors simultaneously. Somehow, some way, we never, ever got together on the radio. I had other Rams alums in my pocket, like Jack Youngblood, and never had the occasion to talk to Jim Everett. But I will this week because Merck's getting him for us. Adam Delavitt runs the show for Bet Rivers. Thanking Troy Mocker and Alex Pastor for a job well done as always. I'm Dan McNeil. Have a good start to your week. Don't give up on the Bears. They'll keep fighting, and Eberflus will keep learning. Or he won't. See you.